You are listening to the Knotted Physio podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Resmondo, owner of South Alabama Physiotherapy and creator of the Knotted Physio, where life should be fun and light. This is the podcast where we talk about how to keep the active adult who's busy with work and family life fit and healthy to enjoy the Gulf Coast outdoors. Let's get into today's episode. Before we start today, I wanted to let you know about our free Facebook group, The Knotted Physio. I do live trainings in the group each week to dive deeper into strategies to remain active and where you can ask me questions personally and I'll give you feedback. Okay, on to the episode. Hey guys, welcome to the Knotted Physio podcast. I'm so glad to be here today. I've got an amazing guest to be able to share with you all on the podcast. Today we are bringing in Butch, Thierry, who is the executive editor of Great Days Outdoor Media. Butch, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jenny, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite. It's always interesting. I think this is the first interview I've ever done on this side of the microphone, so we'll see how it goes.
I am sure you're going to do fabulous, and I bet you're going to have a wealth of knowledge to be able to share with the audience today.
Thank you. We'll see. I'll do my best.
Yeah, and I'm sure that several of the listeners are familiar with your brand, with that, the whole outdoor media that you've created and expanded. So tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself. How did you get into fishing, and how did you make it into, the Great Days Outdoors Media? Where did that vision come from?
Yeah. So Great Days Outdoors Media, like you said, I'm Butch Thierry. My partner, Joe Baya, and I own Great Days Outdoors Media. Our company was founded as a magazine about 25 years ago. We've been in publication that long.
Wow.
We bought the magazine about 5 years ago and have been transforming it into the media company that it is today, kind of growing our web presence. What we kind of do is we really just try to produce helpful educational content for hunters and anglers, stuff that people care about, stuff that matters, stuff that everyday guys that are on their land or, on their boat fishing or hunting, anything that we can do to help them. We started the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report podcast about 5 years ago. I believe this is the 5th year.
Oh, wow.
And we have the Northwest Florida Fishing Report, Alabama Freshwater Fishing Report, and we have a Hunt and Land podcast as well.
Okay.
On those fishing reports, they're weekly, and we try to have an inshore fishing report, an offshore fishing report, and an onshore fishing report each week. And we get that information from, well-respected guides and anglers that fish, a lot in those regions. So they give the up-to-date information every week. And it's been very fun to see how it progresses.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I knew that you had multiple podcasts, but I didn't realize that you covered the freshwater and onshore as well as the saltwater realm. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It's been fun to watch it grow, and we just have some really, really, really awesome listeners and people that give us feedback. And like I said, we just like helping people, and it's really cool for people to reach out to us and say, man, you've really, the guys contributing to the podcast, the guide shortened my learning curve by years. Some of these guys that fish 200 days a year, given the information that they figure out every single day and tips and tactics to catch more fish.
That's awesome.
I think you asked me a little bit about how I got into this and how I started fishing.
Yes.
That is a long story. I started fishing when I have pictures of me sitting on Dad's radar box, on his first boat, when I was 2 or 3. My dad was the captain on the Lady Ann, is probably the boat that most people recognize. I grew up on the back deck of that boat. I started running charters as a deckhand by myself when I was probably 12 years old. I literally grew up on the back deck of charter boats.
No, where was this at?
Dauphin Island, Alabama. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that. I did not mention
No worries.
Yep. My dad owned and operated Lady Ann, Captain Mike's Deep Sea Fishing out of there he just retired the boat. Well, the boat is not retired. He retired. Captain King Marchand took over his Lady Ann operation, and my brother still owns and operates the Escape down there at Captain Mike's Deep Sea Fishing. So they still do it every day.
Wow. Sounds like that was an awesome way to grow up and to kind of have that ingrained into your history and your spirit and your soul to be able to go out and go fishing every day like that.
Yeah, ingrained is a great way to put it. I didn't really have a choice. I was there every day.
You were there whether you liked it or not. And I think about my son, and he's 17, and we've taken him fishing since he was little, but now I can't get him to go at all. Somehow or another, he missed that passion. He could care less, and it like
Yeah.
breaks my husband's heart.
Yeah, it's either for you or it's not. We all have our
Right.
different things.
Exactly. So you got into deep sea fishing because you were on your dad's boat.
Yep.
Tell me about the type of fish that you really like to target. I mean, you grew
Mhm.
up going deep sea fishing, but is that
Absolutely.
where you're at now? Is that your favorite still?
I would say yes. Whenever I got to the age of about probably 15, my brother and I were deckhands, first mate and second mate on my dad's boat. And at that time, the tournament circuit was totally different than it is now. The big ones over at the Biloxi, and the tournament circuit from like Panama City over to Biloxi. There was a lot of
Yeah.
charter boats that fished those back then.
Mhm.
And so we fished every single tournament circuit, and that was really fun. We really enjoyed catching the blue marlin, and we won charter boat of the year multiple years in a row for tagging the most blue marlin in the Gulf of Mexico. Um, that's still my
Wow.
passion. I still love going offshore. Actually, just got back from a hot shots of Venice, Louisiana. I got some fresh sashimi in that's cooler, so it's a good week.
Right. So would you say that the tuna is your more favorite fish, or is there another fish that you'd like to target more than that?
I really like catching the billfish.
Billfish. What is it about the billfish that makes it so fun?
Oh man, they're just an exciting species. All of them. I love swordfish. They're fun to catch. There's nuances in catching each of them. It's just really fun to figure out the techniques and what's working that day. And they just, there's blue marlin and white marlin. They dance and get out of the water, and it's just man versus beast. It's you against the fish. It's really fun to figure it out and getting next to the boat. And I like wiring the fish. You go hand to hand combat with a 500-pound blue marlin. There's nothing like it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be very adventurous. And I think you would get your adrenaline going pretty quickly with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like a
Lots of
rush.
Absolutely. Lots of yelling and high-fiving usually.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. Maybe one day I'll get to experience that. We'll have to see.
That's right.
So are you able to fish year round, or do you put in other activities into the in between times or the down times?
Yeah, it's tricky finding time for all of my hobbies.
Right?
I'm a big hunter as well. So, October to February, I try and get up to the hunt camp as much as I can. Even in the summer, we manage a big plot of land, and it's always something to do, plotting and bush hogging and planting and plowing and feeding deer. And I really enjoy my deer hunting and growing my deer. But probably in the last 5 years since we started the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, we get the guys every week to tell us how the speckled trout are doing and the redfish. And
Right.
I really got into inshore fishing, which is, around this area, Mobile Bay, Mississippi Sound, in these tributaries, Fowl River, Dog River. I don't get over your way very much, but
Mhm.
it's a wintertime thing, October to now, February and March. It's incredible fishing in all these rivers and tributaries, and artificial fishing has gotten into my blood for sure for those speckled trout, and it's fun. So yes, I hunt in the off season and fish in the off season. So there's really just not an off season, really.
There really is not an off season.
There's
I
not.
figured you were going to say that, but
Yep,
there's people out there that don't realize all that we have here in our back doors. We do have the
absolutely.
golf, and we do have the inshore fishing, um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
whenever we
hunting.
whenever yeah. Yes, and hunting. And the hunting's great. I mean, there's not many
Oh,
states where my partner Joe always says all the time, there's not very many states where you can go kill an 8 point in the morning and then go tag a blue marlin in the afternoon.
right? Yeah,
That's
there's not.
true. We live in an incredible place.
Yes, we do. I
Um,
agree.
Whenever we started the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, we put out 52 shows a week, or 50. I think we take, like Thanksgiving and Christmas off. And we were like, how are we going to do a show every single week? But man,
Yeah,
there is just always something to catch.
yeah,
It's year round around here. I mean, it's just not like, other places where it gets cold and people put their boats up for 6, 8 months out of the year. You just roll 365
yeah.
around here.
You're probably like me and my husband, you have a different type of boat for the different kind of fish you're targeting.
Yeah, that's right. You got to.
There's a whole yard or garage full of different boats.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. It's a lot to maintain. We need a bigger house. I keep telling my wife, she's like, why are you buying more fishing stuff? I'm like, I gotta have it. I mean, I gotta have it for this, specific purpose.
Yes, I gave up years ago of arguing and trying to understand it. Now I'm like, oh, I get it, because I've gotten into that with my husband. Now that
Yep.
my child is old enough where I could actually enjoy it now.
Yep.
But that is so fun.
Yeah, thank you.
So are you like a lot of fishermen that I know, they carry some kind of fishing equipment in their car or their truck, just in case they have that spare moment to be able to go, throw the pole out a little bit. Do you do
Yeah.
that too?
Oh yeah. I always have something in my truck, usually an AR with a night vision for a pig or something, usually a grub tied on. It's probably a slick lure, usually a spinning reel. You never know when you're going to see something on the side of the road you need to check out.
Right. That's so much fun.
Yep.
So what is your go-to for what you carry around? Do you mind sharing that? And if you don't, then that's fine. We'll skip on. But what is it that your little secret stash in your truck, in the back of your truck, that you're going to slip out every once in a while?
Slick lure is hard to beat. It's a pureflats.com, and it's this time of year, like I was saying, the artificial fishing is just incredible, and you can catch pretty much anything on them. I've caught flounder, I've caught speckled trout, I've caught redfish, and you can cast it a mile, and it has great action. It doesn't really, it matters what the wind direction is, but you can pretty
Sure.
much fish it anywhere, anyway, and it's a very versatile lure.
Awesome. So when you actually go out fishing, we all have our tried and trues. You got to have your fishing rods, you've got to have your tackle, your bait. What specific must-haves do you carry with you that maybe the common person wouldn't think about?
That's a good one there. I'm gonna have to say, at least one time, I'm gonna have to say sunscreen, because my wife will beat me up if I don't. Gotta carry,
Right,
gotta carry that
right.
sunscreen. Fishing shirts with the hood. I've actually gotten very, very hooked on those. It saves it actually drops the degrees by about 10 whenever you put the hood up. Saves the back of your neck and the ears. You don't have to apply near as much sunscreen.
Wow. Yeah, the fishing shirts with the
hmm
UPF. Yeah,
hmm
those seem to be nice. Out of Just curious, do you ever wear the little gaiters?
I do. Whenever I get pretty, a lot of sun exposure, stuff on my
Yeah,
face drives me nuts. But yes, I do
me
wear them a
too.
lot. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
them a lot. AFCO makes a hooded one with a mask built in, and so you don't have
really.
to always have it in your pocket or something like that, because I'll forget it. Um,
Yeah.
Sunglasses also. I can't even get out. I can't even walk to my truck without my sunglasses. So those are definitely something you got to have on you all
Yeah,
the
and you
time.
got to have the right polarized type.
That's right.
You
I
can't
don't.
just
I
go
don't
ahead.
think I have anything. I just don't think I have anything super odd or weird or superstitious that I have to bring on the boat with me. I don't think. Not that I can think of right now, anyways.
Well, you never know. There are
That's
some
right.
people that have weird little hobbies, or they have to take, this certain tackle box because he's had that tackle box for years and years and years,
Yep. Yep.
just
As long
curious.
as it's not bananas, I guess it really doesn't matter.
I love it. I forgot about that. I was like, wait
Yep.
a minute, what?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, do you think that's true?
No, I've actually caught fish on
I
bananas
was
before.
like, I think I've always taken them.
Yeah. No, I don't think
Um,
it matters.
Sorry, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. But I
You
do
caught me
believe in a
off guard
good,
for half a second.
that's right. I do believe in a good superstition. So just as a good rule of thumb, we avoid the bananas on the boat.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it. So switching gears a little bit, just shifting back to
Sure.
more of what you're doing now. When did you realize that you could actually make a career out of being in the outdoors and fishing? When did that actually come up?
Yeah. That was actually one thing that I kind of wanted to touch on whenever you were asking me about the show, and
Yeah.
what I would like to talk about, and things about maybe injuries or things like that.
Mhm.
I didn't really know that I could make a living doing it, but you never know until you do it. I mean, it's if you have something that you really want to do, and it's funny because my wife asked me 10 years ago. I kind of strayed from the fishing and hunting industry a little bit, and got into insurance adjusting some, and just wasn't very happy. 10 years ago, my wife said, what if your dream job, what would you do? I'm like, something in the outdoor industry, communicating with hunters and anglers. And
Yeah.
this opportunity came up 5 years later, and we just took the leap. Luckily, I have a wife that's very supportive, and um, loves what I do and appreciates what I do, and the information that we're bringing to people, and sees what it does to me as far as making me happy, and other people as well. So we took the leap and did it. So you don't really know. You just have to, you only get one shot at this, so you might as well do it.
Right, right.
As cheesy as that may sound, it's true.
Nothing is wrong with that at all. I mean, that you just have to take that leap of faith
That's
and
right.
see if you can make it happen.
We didn't know. I mean, we
Um,
had a plan. We had a plan that we knew would work. Of course, you never really know. And we did
yeah,
it. So it's been
yeah.
fun. It's been fun.
And you've been on that roller coaster.
Yep. Roller
Have you,
coaster is correct. Yes.
right? So that's pretty cool that you were able to make a career out of, your passion for fishing. So what does it mean to you to be able to provide this information to the area anglers and the hunters in the area?
Everything. That's why we do what we do. I think Joe feels the same way. It means a lot to me whenever somebody reaches out with a Facebook message or a text message or an email. We get some user submitted questions or some consumer, submitted questions that are, we do some hey cap questions, and people will say, man, I caught my biggest trout because of, this question, or this report gave me this idea that made me a better angler. And that was really our goal from the very beginning, was to have something that created value for the guides that are contributing to the podcast, because they're getting the exposure for their business. And me being from a charter background, that was very important to me because I know how hard those guys work and how much they put into their business and how hard it is. Um,
Mhm.
always cracked me up. People, oh man, you fish for a living, you got it made. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Fishing for a living all day. Yeah.
Right.
So it means everything for me to be able to help anglers and hunters become better outdoorsmen.
Awesome. Well, as you know, I have focused on being able to help those same people just in a different way. You're
Correct.
out there, helping them to be able to learn how to fish or learn how to read the waters so that they could go out and catch all these, nice fish. And I am on the other side,
Yeah,
your body going so that you can go out to enjoy the fishing, because I realize how much of a factor it plays in our mental health to be able to go out and
absolutely.
spend time on the water or spend time in the deer stand. So with that being said, have you had any experiences with any injuries that's kind of stopped you or limited your ability to go out fishing?
Yeah, sure. And thank you for what you do. We appreciate you helping anglers and hunters get back in the outdoors, because that's what it's all about. And you're right. It is very, for me, I mean, even just a simple boat ride is just very zen. It's something about being outside. It's something about, even when I'm hunting, it's something about some quiet time, some reflection time. It's very important. So thank you for helping people get back outside. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, like I said, I've been deckhanding since I was able to walk. Never really ever thought anything about lifting up 150-pound tuna and 70-pound bags of or baskets of ice to and from the boat every day, before the
Mhm.
trip and after the trip.
Yeah.
Um, Ice in the morning and then the fish off in the afternoon, the same
Right.
baskets. So I beat myself up pretty good. I have a pretty bad lower back, hereditary, some, and some just from abusing the crap out of it. Um,
Yeah, when you go out on the boat, your
oh
body
man.
takes a pounding, especially if you're going offshore.
Absolutely. Nowadays, I'm showing my age here, but
Ah,
getting close to 40, it's a lot different ball game than it was whenever I was 15 to 20 to 25 for sure. I feel it a lot more.
yeah, for sure.
It doesn't limit me, I would say, but I definitely have to be more careful now.
Yeah,
Just take some precautions. Definitely can't lift like I used to, and I don't drag 150-pound tuna over the rail by myself like I used to stupidly.
right.
Just try
Yeah,
and be
you've
smart.
learned.
Absolutely. The hard way. Of course, that's what I do. I specialize in.
That's yeah. I think that's what we all do. We're all human. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You
So that
don't realize.
being said, that's a fact. Yeah. So that being said, I have about 3 discs in my L5. I think it's 4 or 5 S1 that are kind of jacked up. They're dehydrated discs, and I have some of my jelly squishing out on my sciatica. What are some things that I can do to be more comfortable in the water? Are there any stretches? What do you have? Let's interview you a little bit. What you got?
Yeah, right. Let's throw this around. And that's exactly what I do. So yeah, there's plenty of things that you could do. the discs that are dehydrated and, like you said, the jelly squishing out, compress the nerve. That's a major problem that affects most everybody at some point in their life. 80% of Americans have back problems at some point, and which is
Wow.
crazy. I mean, it's
That
a
is
lot
crazy.
of people.
Mhm.
So like when you were saying like bending forward to pick the tuna over the side of the boat, being in that forward position for any extended period of time opens up that space on the back side of the vertebrae to allow the, air quotes, the jelly to squish out and compress the nerve.
Mhm.
So anything that you could do to avoid being in that forward bent position is going to be helpful for you.
Okay, great.
So there are a series of exercises, and many people know these already. You can Google them. They're out there. You just kind of have to work your way through them, but they're called the McKenzie extension exercises. And there was a physical therapist way back in the day that came up with these by accident and realized that it actually worked for disc herniations, which is what
Gotcha.
sounds like you've got going on. So it's basically doing a lot of backwards bending in different positions. So that would be the one thing that I would look for, as well as not bending forward,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, so that would be exactly where I would say to work on. And then the third thing, just to give you one more, the more fluid intake you have, especially with electrolytes added to it, is going to help to your joints and the disc to be more supple. Even if they're dehydrated, that'll help plump them up a little bit. And it's usually like if you go out deep sea fishing, like you went out, you said yesterday, you should have started on Tuesday to start hydrating. So you don't have to do this whole pre-hydration component.
Right.
So those are just three basic simple things that you could do. They don't take much time. It's just being conscientious of doing
That's
them.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And like lifting with my legs is something that, doesn't come
Yeah.
natural. You just have to be cognizant of it and know that that's what you need to do or you're going to hurt yourself.
Right. Right. Yeah. There's certain things, like you said, you've learned that you can't do anymore.
Just simple adjustments that you
Yep.
just have to get used to for sure.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. So hopefully those few little things will help you. And when you go, after today's podcast and you start practicing some of these, or you research, or I could even send you that information. I have sheets on now that I help, and I give people for free just so that they have some guidance.
Awesome.
I mean, I could send that to you and to my listeners. You guys all know that I will be happy to share that with you as well. So let me know, down the road, if you tried it and it actually works for you, or if it doesn't work, because it's not the 100% cure all, fix all. It's
Sure.
just starting point to be able to get you going in the right direction.
I love it. That's great. I will certainly try it for sure. Thank you for the
Awesome.
pointers.
You're welcome. I'm happy to offer those suggestions to you. Well, Butch, it's been fabulous to have you on today. I want to thank you again so much for agreeing to come on and letting me interview you, and you being on that side of the camera or the microphone
That's right.
for the first time. So
Thank you.
thank
I
you so
enjoyed it.
much.
No problem. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. Also, where if our listeners wanted to find you and your information, where can they find you?
Sure. Our website is greatdaysoutdoors.com. You can Google Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report or Northwest Florida Fishing Report, Hunting Land Podcast, or the Alabama Freshwater Fishing Report, and we'll pop up in pretty much all those locations.
Awesome. Well, great. I'll be sure to include that in the notes below the podcast. And we look forward to seeing and talking to you soon in the future.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Jenny. I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that concludes this episode. Be sure to like and follow the podcast, and we will see you guys next time.